I don't want to overstate it too much because I am British and it feels very unnatural to say this, but I am essentially living the life that I dreamed of right now. And that is crazy. It really feels like that can't be true, but it is. And I think that minimalism was one of the biggest catalysts to actually get me to this point. I couldn't say it at the time necessarily, but looking back now, I can see how the pieces of the jigsaw have all fit together to make this reality real. And I want to share with you 3 of the biggest ways that I think minimalism has had an impact. So the first one, you need to start off with a bit of context. Minimalism often starts with decluttering, and you can find your keys more easily. You're not tripping over stuff all the time. It starts off very, very practical. It's like you don't want to see your environment as an enemy anymore. You don't want to see it as something that you have to fight against and tackle. It becomes something that assists you. And with that comes a bit of mental clarity. And that's kind of a gift in its own right. But then, you see, you have to start thinking about, well, what am I actually going to fill my space with? Who actually am I? And what do I spend my time doing? And these things, this redeveloping your relationship with your values and who you are, means that you improve your relationship with yourself. And here's the important part. In order to develop your relationship with yourself, you have to treat yourself like somebody who is worth getting to know. And that is only something that occurred to me very recently. And it was, I looked back at my life and I realized, my goodness me, before minimalism, I was a bully to myself. I treated myself like a malfunctioning robot who wasn't reaching the deadlines, wasn't getting things done. And that is so unfair. And I think back to little me, and I feel so sorry for her. And every purchase that I made was an attempt at changing myself. There was no sense of trying to understand myself. It was a case of, why aren't you somebody else? That was my attitude to me, and that is a little bit heartbreaking, really. I think it's important when developing a relationship with ourselves that we have to treat ourselves like a friend. We have to want the best for ourselves, and we have to speak kindly to ourselves. And obviously there's a lot of talk of affirmations and, I love me and I believe in myself, all this kind of thing. But something I don't hear people talking about is actually taking the time to get to know yourself like you would get to know a friend. And I think the moment that you start treating yourself like somebody who is worth getting to know, that's like fertile soil for beautiful plants to grow. It is one of the biggest things I think minimalism has done for me. It doesn't have to be done through minimalism, but it is, for me, that was what minimalism kind of taught me. It led me there. I can see that my life now is a result of that change. And isn't that nice? I think we should all start treating ourselves as somebody who is worth getting to know. And this is probably a good time to mention something that I'm working on right now. It's not finished yet, but if you'd like to be kept updated with the progress of the process, then I will put a link to join my mailing list below and I'll let you know when it's ready. But it's called the 6-part map for finally beginning. I essentially want to just help everybody. I want everybody, if I can help you, I want to help you. So I've made something that is the aim. If you're watching this video and you like the way I speak, you like the way I think, then I think you'll really like this. So please sign up to the mailing list and I'll let you know when it's finished and you can tell me what you think and I'll tell you more about it later. Anyway, on to point number 2. I'll have to check my phone because I've forgotten what it is. Again, I'm just gonna sprinkle in some context before we do the final kind of text on screen bit. But every purchase I made as a pre-minimalist, trying to find my identity, trying to work out who I was person, was like opening a new path, like creating a new imaginary self that I wanted to be. I had no clarity on the direction that I actually wanted to go in, so I was being pulled around. Every advert was pulling me in one direction. I'd see someone walking down the street in a wonderful outfit, I pulled in that direction. Every YouTube video, every radio ad, everything, I just felt like completely pulled around. I had no central anchor to myself. And that meant that the limited energy that I did have was being I was just sprinkling it about. My attention and my energy was just sprinkled a bit over here, a bit there, none of it amounting to anything. And when I kind of figured out who I was a bit more, I don't think we ever properly figure that out. But when I understood myself, when I took the time to understand myself, I could see more clearly the direction that I wanted to go in, or at the very least, the directions that I didn't want to go in. So just by honing in on that, I could put all of my energy here. I could put all of my energy in the direction I wanted to go in. And you know, that advert would call me and I'd be like, no, I'm going over there. I'd see someone in a really cute cardigan, and whereas old me would have been thinking, oh, if I own that cardigan, then maybe I would be cute and I would be creative and blah, blah. But new me's like, that is a distraction. I'm going over there. I'm not going to cute cardiganville. I'm headed in that direction. And all of my energy is going to take me over there. An analogy I like for this is something about me I'm happy to admit. I am the kind of person who has too many tabs open. I'm opening a new tab for anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I have no qualms against opening a new tab. And you do get, well, it depends on your browser actually, but once upon a time, you did get to a point where your computer would just be very slow because it was running so many tabs. And I think this is true of the available paths we give ourselves, the amount of imaginary selves we have. If every single time you buy something, you imagine a future that this thing is going to invite into your life, then you end up with so many different directions that you could go in that you're overwhelmed and you're confused and you don't have enough time and energy to pursue them all. So what you need to do is close down some tabs, and that's decluttering. For me, you close down those tabs and then you're left with the one page, and it loads beautifully. You scroll through smoothly, amazing. Scrolling, that was very old school, wasn't it? I like that. I like that I did that. I wasn't scrolling or scrolling. I was scrolling. Just in case it's not clear, I'm imagining an old school mouse and I'm scrolling like that. So if you can pick the lane you want to go down, and you can go down it with gusto and energy because you've got all of your resources and your time and your attention all focused in one direction that you feel called to because you have an internal pull pulling you in that direction, rather than, you know, being pushed by advertising or pushed by the status quo or being pushed by the trends of the time, then you are more likely to actually get to where you want to go. And I feel, again, it feels so surreal, but I've kind of gotten to where I want to go. There's still other places I would like to go. There's stuff I want to build. But if I look at my dream boards from like 5-6 years ago, just a picture of my life now. Point number 3. Minimalism is an unconventional way of living. And I think, and I'm going to be very much, you know, okay, just throwing a load of disclaimers at you. However you choose to live, amazing. Whatever works for you, incredible. I am in no way trying to suggest that what I am doing or what I think is the best and the only way. I'm telling you from my experience that through the path that I've gone down, these are the lessons I've learned. And you don't have to go down that same path to learn them, but you might want to consider it. That is very much my stance on this kind of thing. So if ever I come across a bit preachy, I'm so sorry. It's just because I'm really excited about what I'm saying here. So for me, I think my first unconventional life choice was veganism. I never thought I was going to be vegan. I kind of judged vegans a bit, and then all of a sudden I was one. Overnight I went vegan. This for me opened the door to unconventional ways of living. And I think that assessing the unconventional ways of living, or at least choosing one that is aligned with your values and starting there, opens the doors to living a life that actually feels like yours. That rhyme. Especially if you've gone down the kind of conveyor belt school system. I remember for me there was a point when I left university and I was out of academia and I didn't know what to do or where to get my validation from or how to feel like I had any sense of momentum, because all of my momentum had come from working and getting grades and going up the school years. So I was very much on a autopilot conveyor belt kind of a thing. Veganism was the first thing that took me off it. It went against what I expected my life to look like. And that filled me with agency in a lot of ways, because I realized that, I can make the governing decisions for my life now. And it meant that I got to practice every single day sticking to something. And I got to practice aligning my behaviors with my values. And then came minimalism, which I think veganism kind of opened the door to. It's like, oh, there are different ways to live your life. Amazing. Let's look at this one. This one feels right to me. It feels good. So I followed that. And then now I am going to be homeschooling, and I am living in Tokyo, and I'm not saying that these are the things to aim for, but these are things that are very much aligned with my values. I'm living a life that feels like my life. And I think one of the things that pulled me towards kind of excessive shopping and instilling excessive amounts of hope in new starts and new changes and this desire to become a different version of myself, I think a lot of that came from the fact that my life didn't really feel like mine. I just did what I was expected to do for all of my life. And I think most of us are in that position. That's not a woe is me thing. That's just what life is like. A lot of the time we follow the guide, the path that is in front of us. And in a lot of ways that can be great. All I knew was that buying things or making a new plan, buying a new notebook, making a new dream board, all that kind of thing, I just knew that they made me feel good. And so I pursued that, not realizing necessarily that it's a very short-lived burst, and then it plateaus, and then you just have no money and you have too much stuff to tidy. That is where I found myself. I really wish that I had filmed my initial declutter, because I got rid of so much stuff, but I wasn't, that wasn't me at the time. And also it was 2 weeks of just, that was meant to be a mime for getting rid of lots of things very fast. I appreciate it didn't convey it very effectively, but I went through things really, really quickly, made my decisions so fast. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, because I think decluttering as a process, in order to squeeze all of the value and all of the lessons out of decluttering, I think maybe slowing down can be very helpful. But for me, I just went super fast. And then now I'm able to look back and kind of see everything that I learned. So they are the three things. They are the three little nuggets of wisdom that I want to share with you. Please join the mailing list. I am so excited about this. I started a little group, which I've already told my mailing list about, and I've got some people in there who are some of the best people. It's an amazing place to be. And there's someone in there who made me realize something, which feels like my governing, the thing that I want to do in this world, other than being a mother, because that is number one. Always, like, Naomi is my world. But second to that, I want to help good people do good things. That is what I feel like I was brought to this earth for. I think I always thought that my life mission would have to be something more complicated than that. But I genuinely do think that's it. I want to help good people do good things, because I think that in itself is kind of like the Pocahontas ripple thing, you know? It's like, if I can help good people do good things, that will make the world a bit better. So if you're a good person trying to do good things, I want to help you. Please subscribe. Please join the mailing list, because I'll be letting people know there first what's going on. And I'll put my Instagram here as well if you want to follow along here. I'm not very good at the social media thing. I'm trying really hard, but it doesn't feel very authentic to me. This feels authentic, just sitting and chatting. This feels authentic, but I am trying my very hardest. So if you wish to support me while I'm trying my very, very best, feel free to follow me over there. And I'm sending you so much love. If you're a good person trying to do good things, we're in it. You can do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna make this world a little bit better every day. And I'm sending you so much love. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.